Okay. So you're gonna use, because it's another base, it's not base 10. This is base 10. You want where you want to change the base to a 2, a 4, a 5, a 10, or not a 10, a 6. You could use it for 10 though. Okay, so log base 6. Okay, I'm gonna plug in a -5. I'm gonna get rejected. -5. Okay, and I get an error. I should get an error for all of these. Okay, so I'm going to go back and plug -1. Error. I go back for 0, and I get error. Okay, I'll show you why they're in a bit, like in fast forward, I'll show you why we're getting the errors. Okay, but let's first graph it right now. Okay, so what you need to do is, when you're graphing these, you need to find a number that's gonna give an actual answer. Okay, so give me a number. Obviously, -5, -1, and 0 gave me error, so give me a number. 2? Okay, if I plug in 2, I get -5. And so now if you plot, I'm here, right? All right, give me a number, another number. 7. Okay, you plug in 7, and you get -4. Oh, you guys, I put -5. Oh my goodness. Okay, so apparently I can't dot. That's not it. Sorry, you guys. That's why I was like, I'm looking at my graph and I'm like, it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because I plotted at -. Where's my partner? Who's like, Miss Kenny, you did it wrong. See, that's why you guys take partner quizzes, because how is it I didn't know how to plot. Okay. All right, better. Okay, so look, you know your graph has a curvature. So you're like, okay, I got 2. If you want to plug in, say, 4, and like, well, let me see what it's doing. So I get -4.3. So say here. So what do I get? 7 was -4. So then 4 was -4.4. Okay, so it kind of looks like this is shooting off. But now what am I doing here? Okay, so if I go back, say 1.5. Whoopsie, not 41. 1.5. I get -5.4. Say here. So see how it's now curving. Okay, if I substitute in 1, I get error. Okay, so now finally when I throw in 1, I get an error. That's because that is your asymptote. Because obviously 1.5 gave me a number. But now all of a sudden within 5/10, I have a rejection. Because look at what your graph is. X, whoops, you can barely see. X minus 1, kind of like your HK. Your H is a +1. That is your asymptote. So right through here, so your log function, x equal 1, right? Because it's that H value. That is your restriction. And that is because, can you get a 0 solution from a power? You can't. What's 5 to the 0? 1. What's 5 to the -1? 1/5. You never can get the 0 solution to come out of a power. That's why whenever inside of here, whatever's equal that makes it equal to 0, that's your asymptote. So usually it's opposite H. So if you're looking at x minus 1, +1 is your asymptote. So you know your log function, it's either to the right or to the left of that asymptote. In this case, it's to the right. So if you wanted to plug in other numbers, say you're like, well, I'm not quite sure, let me do 1.25. Notice I did negative 5.8. So that's like, so if you notice, it's getting closer and closer and closer here. And then that's what it looks like there. And that's it. That's your graph. Just you'll play with it with practice. You'll kind of see, like you'll see your numbers are actually differing. But then when they start getting tighter and tighter by tens of hundreds and thousands, then you know you're getting closer to the asymptote because it's getting that curve.
Because the next one is negative 5 is 36. So
Yeah.
that's how you know.
Yeah, go the other direction. Okay, so look, you're not, so in this case, just to kind of go through this, you're not going to have a y-intercept here. There is no y-intercept, and that's because it doesn't exist, does not exist, because this graph, this function can't get close to the y-axis, right? I can't. Like, look, remember, what is it? If you want to know what the y-intercept is, let x equal 0. So, E0 equal. You get an error. It does not exist. Yes? Some of you guys are in conversation and your partners, which means quizzes. One of you better focus. Okay, your x-intercept. Okay, this is really extra right now. Okay, so look. If I look at my x-intercept, remember, if you were to take pre-calc honors, they can make you do all of this by hand. How do you find your x-intercept? You let y equal 0 and you solve. So this is my function, right? And this is good for like you guys learning how to rewrite. All right, I need to solve for x, right? Isn't that what I have to isolate for? That's the whole point, right? Is to get this by itself. Okay, so what do? It's always the k, right? A, you're going to inverse the function, and then it's h, right? Okay, but we're on logs, so it's not totally that. So in this case, we are on the k. That k needs to jump over this equal sign, and so it's at a positive 5, right? Yeah? Okay, so practice, which was your page 3 through 6, and then you guys had your other worksheet. If you guys remember how to rewrite logs to powers, right? A to the b or b to the a or whatever, right? Okay, do you guys remember that loop? I know it's kind of written backwards, but if I kind of write it where your booklet was presented to you, do you guys agree that's the same? I just switched? Yeah? Is that okay? Okay, so what do you guys remember? If you ever want to rewrite it into exponential form, start at the base and do that back loop, right? So 6 to the 5th is equal to x minus 1. And now your log's out. And now you can solve for your x-intercept. So what's 6 to the 5th? Some huge number. And I'll show you on Desmos right now. 6 to the 5th is 7776. Okay, so this is 7776. X minus 1, but I'm going to take the 1 over, right? Because I want x by itself. And so I get 7777. I don't know, is that a lucky number? Okay, and that is your x-intercept. So your graph is way over here. X equal 1 is my asymptote. We got like, what, like -4 or something? All right, it's doing this, but it's going to eventually cross at 777,777. But it has no y-intercept. And so if I go to the graph, it's going to be accurate. So on a log function, you are capable of finding the critical points. You can find them.
I have a question. So how come, you took the 5 over and you made it positive? Why did you switch it back to the other side? So, but wouldn't it have to be like negative?
No, it's just because when you guys were looking at your booklet, I presented it left to right, so I just switched it. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let me